The United Nations has a lot of agencies such as the World Food Program, UNICEF, and the World Health Organization. In this video, I'm going to talk about the UN Refugee Agency. UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, was formed 70 years ago after World War II. It protects people forced to flee their homes because of conflict and persecution. They work in over 130 countries, protecting millions of people by responding with life-saving support, safeguarding fundamental human rights, and helping them build a better future. Did you know that the word refugee is often used as a general term for people displaced by war, violence, or persecution? But there are different categories of displaced people, each with specific needs. Let me explain. Refugees are people fleeing conflict or persecution. Refugees come from countries all over the world. However, 68% come from just 5 countries, most of which come from Syria. Most refugees are in developing countries. They tend to stay in neighboring countries. For example, Turkey currently helps the most refugees, hosting 3.7 million as of 2020, and more so now. Refugees cannot be sent back to their country if this puts them in danger. Migrants are people moving to another country for other reasons beyond conflict and persecution. For example, my mom immigrated to Canada from Peru in search of a better life, but not for safety or political reasons. Internally displaced people are seeking safety in other parts of their country. So, for example, if there was an earthquake that damaged a community, then those people would remain in their country, but they would have lost their home and need assistance. Asylum seekers are people seeking international protection from conflict and persecution. They want to receive refugee status so they can be protected. Returnees are people who have returned home after being displaced. Most refugees would love to return to their home country once it is safe to do so. As you can see here, there are 82.4 million people displaced worldwide. 26.4 million are refugees, 48 million are internally displaced, and 4.1 million are asylum seekers. It is sad to see that there are so many people in this terrible situation. The UN Refugee Agency helps displaced people in several ways. One example is that they ensure they have access to health care, food, clean water, and hygiene products. They also help them to find shelter. They prefer that refugees don't have to live in camps, but rather can find some form of affordable housing. However, they do set up camps when needed and make sure they are well designed so that diseases don't spread or fires break out. My aunt works for the UN Refugee Agency. She told me that she loves working there and is proud of the work that they do. She also told me that they were recently able to provide food and shelter to 600,000 people in less than 72 hours. Isn't it great that this agency is set up to help so many people in need? If you want to learn more about refugees, I suggest this book, Refugee by Alan Gratz. It is a great book that will help you understand what families go through when fleeing their country. It follows 3 families at different times. There is Joseph, who is Jewish, fleeing Germany in 1939. There is Isabel, fleeing Cuba in 1994. And there is Mahmoud, fleeing Syria in 2015. Even though these stories all happened in 3 different countries and at 3 different times, the struggle of all those refugees was quite similar. They all left because they were fleeing conflict going on in their country. They did not feel safe and felt they had to leave for their own survival. They traveled far distances with very little food and only the clothes they were wearing. They all had a boat in their journey, but some also traveled by foot, car, and trains. They were all sad to leave the country where they had lived their entire lives and hoped to return once peace was restored. They were also hopeful that they could build a better life in the new country that they were trying to get into. The journey was difficult and they persevered through many setbacks. I can understand more now what it means to be a refugee and feel so sad for so many displaced people. I hope that you enjoy reading this book as much as I did. I would like to do more to help the refugees. I have donated to the UN Refugee Agency. If you would like to help the refugees as well, the link to donate is in the description, along with the link to get the book I just mentioned. If you like this video, slam that like button and comment down below. Help me build my channel by clicking the subscribe button. Prof. Josh, out.